What's good? What's good, guys? How's everybody doing? I'm back with another Avenger stream. Apologize for the for the voice. Dealing with a dry throat recently. But what is good? How's everybody feeling this weekend? Hope everybody had an awesome weekend and hopefully a good week as well to go along with it. Let's do a quick shout out for the chat really quick. Appreciate everybody for being here. And if you can, make sure you slap a like. Definitely helps out the channel. Definitely helps support. We got Flawed. We got Jedi Survivor. That boy dude. Always supporting. Appreciate that, bro. Mandalorian. Trayvon. What's up, Trayvon? ISO Storm Gamer. We got Kage SMG. What's good, bro? Appreciate you coming through as always. Bankai Kingdom, Fetty, Sean, Ricardo, Sean spelled right, Damien, the Mail Action, Cute Little Chaos Kitty, DSG member in the house. Appreciate you coming through. And we got GG Gaming, Jasim, Cold Blooded, the Papa Beans, Josh Wilson, Beasley Said, Inferno Wing, She Hates Vaughn, Terrence Smalls, Calvin Cooper, Virgil. What's good, everybody? Appreciate you guys coming through as always. I don't know why it feels kind of early for me, but it's actually 1 o'clock here. I don't know. I've been up for a while, so that could be it. My time could be off a little bit. Special Olympics can't stop now. Appreciate you coming through. Lust 8807. Give us She-Hulk now, damn it. Yeah, that's what we're here to talk about. If you guys are new, like to the channel, new to the Avengers community and things like that, you may be really confused about, the conversation surrounding She-Hulk. I'll try my best to get you guys caught up with that. What's up, Tyree? How you doing? But yes, it's a pretty big conversation. The Papa Beans with the membership. Thank you for becoming an Avenger, bro. Thank you so much for joining. Always appreciate the support from you guys. I hope they're not canceling her. Well, like I said, that's what we're here to discuss today. Because recently, like in the past few weeks, the idea of her being canceled or them completely moving away from her as if she's not coming to the game at all has been gaining a lot of traction in the Avengers community. If you follow Doom Kill HD, Lejeune, Lejeune with the membership, bro. What's going on with the support? And shout out to Lejeune. If somebody can exclamation point Lejeune in the chat, big supporter, big content creator, like somebody who I was watching, as I, started my journey in content creation, and I always watch him. Anytime he's streaming, that's who I go to for solid builds, good vibes. That man playlist is insane. One of my favorite creators, bro. Appreciate the support immensely, bro. I can't even. You guys are crazy with that. Yeah, I think She-Hulk will be an Echo hero. We could talk about the Echo stuff as well, because I think that kind of plays a role into what her current status is in Avengers. And, as I was saying, if you guys follow Doom Kill HD, he hosts several podcasts on the weekends. He has the Excelsior Now podcast. He has the Roundtable. He has the weekly wrap up, and a ton of other podcasts over there. Like, that man stays busy and is definitely one of the pivotal figures in the Avengers community itself, and he's done a lot to keep the community going, keep everyone together. He introduces a lot of people, but mainly on the weekly wrap up, he usually hosts those on Saturday nights. And he has a panel of different people from the community where we all come together and share our thoughts on that week's news or what's currently going on in the game and things like that. And recently, well, most recently, you had Fate Walker, who you guys, if you're not familiar with him, you should definitely check him out. He talks about a ton of stuff, but he covers Avengers. He's friends with some of the developers who work directly on Avengers, and yesterday on the podcast, he made a comment about um, the possibility of the Avengers team, Crystal Dynamics specifically, losing or possibly losing the rights to actually produce She-Hulk and Avengers. So because of leaks and things directly, and that's why I have this picture of Miller's tweet from, I don't remember the date specifically. I want to say like sometime in December of last year. So like late December of 2021, Miller came forward with the news that Krizia Bajos was the voice actress of She-Hulk and Avengers, and until they make an official announcement, most of the stuff that Miller puts out, we can we trust him because a lot of the things that he's put out have come to pass and actually been proven to be factual as time progressed. But during his initial predictions or posts, there's a bit of doubt there, and there's room for a bit of doubt, and that's why I always felt comfortable covering it, because it's like it's a rumor until until it becomes official. And when he made this post, the voice actress herself, for whatever reason, I think it was obviously a mix up of some type, but she kind of confirmed the post by retweeting it with a green heart. And I think she interacted with it a bit more than that. And then that kind of set off a chain reaction where you have other voice actors for the game, like Sandra Side. She came in and she was like, hey, welcome to the team. And everybody treated it like it was an official post, when Miller clearly is not an official representative of the studio in any capacity. And again, that kind of let us know, okay, so She-Hulk definitely is a thing. She definitely has some voice work done. And if you follow Krizia Bajos a bit, especially like her recent podcast like this year and last year, she's hinted at doing voice work for a pretty notable character for a Marvel game. And obviously she can't be specific because she's still under NDA, and there has been no official announcement for She-Hulk and Avengers as of yet. So when Miller made this post and we saw the interactions and the traction that it picked up, that was actually pretty huge, and it got a lot of people excited about She-Hulk ultimately coming to the game, which we've known she was planned as a hero based on data mine info that Miller and others have shared. So we knew that She-Hulk, the Winter Soldier, Captain Marvel, and War Machine, people like that were planned heroes amongst other heroes. But those four were the ones with active development. War Machine's development stopped at some point, but Winter Soldier and She-Hulk, they were still receiving updates, which is where the conversation of which one of them would actually arrive first began. And once you got to I want to say early this year, that's when news of, okay, well, someone else is coming in. They kind of pivoted away and started work on another hero, which ultimately became Jane Foster. And then the assumption was, okay, well, She-Hulk is going to come out just in time for her show, which just started back in August, so middle August, on August 18th specifically. And when we began to get word that they had kind of shifted away from even that, this was the first hint Miller kind of put out about that, because obviously because he has inside sources, he got word that plans had changed significantly away from She-Hulk to the point where Winter Soldier would be the next hero. And before he came out and fully said that, this is the image that he shared where he subtly puts Winter Soldier ahead of She-Hulk, which surprisingly a lot of people kind of picked up on that. And from there, a lot of people were just really hyped for the character in general. Like, I was hyped for both characters, Winter Soldier and She-Hulk, and pretty much anybody they plan to bring to the game. And She-Hulk, like I said, she has a new show coming out. She's been the subject of many conversations for the past few weeks, and a lot of people are really excited for her and the possibility of her coming to the game. And I did a poll, about 2 weeks ago, asking people, do they want her as the next hero? Most people said, yes. So you got 56% of 2,500 people saying, yes, we want She-Hulk as the next hero in Avengers. And this is post Bucky, of course. And some people were like, no, save her for later. And then some people was like, no, I don't want her. I want, whatever hero. But the large majority of people were excited for She-Hulk, and they actually do want her to come to the game. So again, we know Bucky is the next hero coming to the game, and he'll be here sometime later this year. But we don't know who's next. We don't know when the next hero will be coming. So, after Jane Foster, of course, we got the No Rest for the Wicked Warzone that just dropped this past Tuesday, and there's mixed feelings around that, but we don't know how much content is going to come in between hero drops going forward, because between Jane Foster and Bucky, we're getting the No Rest for the Wicked Villain Sector Warzone, and you're also getting Cloning Labs dropping right alongside Bucky. So it's a toss-up, and I believe this is actually where the developers have wanted us for a while. And coincidentally, Miller has come forward and said that he doesn't plan to do any more leaks or share any more leaks or rumors for Avengers in the near future. So for the foreseeable future, we'll be in the dark about what's going on. And there have been a rise in people who've been going around the system to get access to early skins that are in development or that have been added to the game in recent patches but haven't been made available in the marketplace. So you have those kind of leaks going on. But after the recent podcast, I really wanted to have the conversation about how much leaks have been affecting the production schedule and the release schedule for Avengers, and are the developers kind of getting to a place where they can kind of control things and just kind of control the narrative of what they want things to be, when they want the branding for heroes to be specific and everything like that. I think this was big. Like, this was pretty big. Like, as you can see up here, Chrisia Bajos retweeted and hearted the post the day that Miller dropped it and everything. And this was in the midst of the developers saying, oh, well, that's somebody just guessing. They were just trying to put out the flames of it before it got any real traction. And then when she retweeted it, that just set off a completely different chain reaction. And then from there, you had the incident when Brian was doing the Xbox Live interview, and Technique alluded that his voice actor coach, who is Chrisia Bajos, confirmed for him that she was the voice of She-Hulk. And he was under the impression that news had been announced, because she was, I guess, sharing that news behind scenes. And clearly you're not supposed to be doing that. That's, you're under NDA and everything's like that. So it's like Marvel, they're really strict about that kind of stuff. So the idea of, this detrimentally, affecting, the release or even their ability to have a license for that character specifically is not, something that's inconceivable or anything like that. And for everybody who just popped into the chat, I definitely appreciate you. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just kind of giving a brief overview of what has been going on with She-Hulk in general behind the scenes. So we know that there has been voice work done for her, and Miller has shared that he shared different audio files for different characters interacting or addressing She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, and Winter Soldier. So we know that they've clearly been planned, and they clearly have intentions of bringing them to the game at some point. We just don't know when. And then again, we don't know their schedule. So Miller has hinted at things and Miller has suggested things, but we on the outside, we don't know for sure until we get official announcements. So when he came forward and said, oh, well, Bucky is the next hero, and then they came and dropped this a few weeks later, it's like, okay, well, that confirms that. But until we get something like this, it's only a rumor. We can take Miller at his word. There's a bit of room in there for him to possibly be wrong, but his track record is what we go by at this point. But again, until we get something official, it's all rumor and speculation at that point. But again, when you get stuff like the voice actress herself confirming things ahead of, saying, proper branding and protocol and everything, that can throw everything out of whack. And again, this is not something Miller expected. Like this, that nobody could have saw that coming, which is why everybody was completely caught off guard, and they instantly, dove into damage control and everything, where she deleted the post. Other people, like Sandra Side, they went as far as blocking Miller so that they're never in a position, to fall for something like this again and things like that. But like I said, it comes back to the conversation of, are leaks good for the game? Are they harmful? And with gaming in general, we've been having a complete storm of leaks and chaos going on in recent weeks with the Rockstar Gaming breach, where a lot of their early work on GTA 6 was exposed, and a lot of their code was shared online and things like that. And that's clearly criminal offense. So it's something like that. There is no justifying that. Like you went to criminal lengths to get access to information that you're clearly not supposed to have access to, and that the developers are putting measures in place to guard against. And stuff like that clearly has ramifications that extend beyond, well, people on the internet know about this game now, because the developers themselves, they have to deal with increased security measures. So it's already hard communicating and getting things signed off on, getting information shared and things like that online, working from home and things like that. There are so many different protocols that they have to go by just to get their day-to-day work done, versus if they were actually in the studio working together, where you can go to somebody's cubicle, or you can go to the office and be like, hey, I need a sign off on this, or I need clearance on this, or whatever. You have all these different things with encryption and all of that stuff that you have to deal with. And now after a breach like this, that only gets escalated. So that whole process becomes a lot more complicated than it already was, because they're taking steps to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. And what's up, Kiarian? Appreciate you coming through, bro. Yeah, like it's exciting. They can be exciting for people on the outside. So when Miller came forward and was like, oh, Bucky is next, everybody got excited. No matter who he announced is next, like, hey, this is the next character, we were going to be excited, because we just want more characters. And to get information about that earlier is a positive for us, but I can see how that's detrimental to the development team, because again, everybody working on the project is under NDA. You're not supposed to be talking about this stuff. You're not supposed to be sharing that. Clearly somebody's going off script and interacting with Miller to give him early access to information, and that has ramifications. And again, we don't know how far, of an extent that has affected the production on She-Hulk. So we know that she's planned. We know that work has been done. We know that her voice acting work goes back at least a year, prior to her, anything we'll see officially. And that's just kind of where things are as of right now. So I don't personally believe she's been canceled. I believe this is exactly where they want us, where there is, suspicion and doubt about her current status, and they have an opportunity to surprise us with information, especially with Miller kind of stepping into the shadows and not revealing their hand before they have an opportunity to. And I believe that can be a good thing. I know we criticize them for how long they go in between sharing information. So they go long periods of time without sharing anything. So they'll say like, oh, Jane Foster is coming, and then we won't hear anything for another month or two. And then it's like, oh, well, here's a little more information about that. And it's like, it's not ideal. As a player, you want to know what's going on. Even baby steps like, trickling down information would be better than just weeks of just silence. So we don't talk about it in the blog. We don't talk about it on our social media posts. We act like we didn't just say what we said a few weeks ago. And, people have different ways of dealing with that, which, ties into toxicity in the community and everything. Because like if if the rumor comes out that Doctor Strange is next, and this is purely an example. That's not me giving you inside information. This isn't me spreading anything. This is me giving an analogy. So if a rumor came out that Doctor Strange was the next character coming out the Winter Soldier, the community of course is going to go insane, and then once there's a silent period around that, or there's no more confirmation, or the studio doesn't come out and officially announce that themselves, or they go and announce something different. So, oh, War Machine is next, or Captain Marvel is next, or She-Hulk, or whoever is next. The people that heard that Doctor Strange was coming next are going to have a different reaction. So some of those people are going to go find the developers online and attack them like, hey, I heard that Doctor Strange was next. Where is he? What's going on? You're lazy. Stuff like that, when it was a rumor. That what you're doing is unreasonable. It makes no sense to go attack a developer based on a rumor, but some people can't discern between a rumor and official news. So if you heard a YouTuber say this character's next, you took that as gospel and ran off beating a developer over the head with it, and the developer's like, one, nobody's supposed to know what we're working on. All of this stuff is supposed to be a surprise. And two, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, where is this coming from? So it's like you kind of have to look at this stuff from that perspective as well. But again, like, we just want more heroes. That's what it really comes down to. And myself and others were really excited when we heard that She-Hulk was a character they had planned, because we know, like, if you follow her in game, and if you follow her in the comics, or any media, you know what she can do. You know what she brings to the table. You know what she offers as a hero, gameplay wise. And also, that with Winter Soldier and Captain Marvel and War Machine, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, all of these other heroes, we know what they can do, and this is why we get excited at the prospect of them coming to Avengers, and to hear that, oh, well, this character may be canceled because of rumors and leaks and things like that, is like, that's extremely disheartening. What's up, Corey? I'm actually glad you said that. Because he said we need more villains, and that's a big thing that goes on in the community or surrounding this game as well. Like, so many people speak in absolutes about what the game needs, what the developers have to do, when things have to come out, when news has to be released, and things like that. And it's like, you have to just relax. Honestly, we're getting too entitled when it comes to information, when it comes to what we learn, what we know, what they share. It's their project. They have full control over when they release information and how they release information and things like that. Miller is an outside source of that, so he's the other side of that. So he data mines the game, and he shares what he finds in data mines and things like that. And again, he's not the only person who does that. The thing that separated Miller from the other data miners is Miller is doing journalistic work, so he's speaking with people who have close ties to the project, and by default, information about what's going on in the project that they shouldn't be sharing. And he uses that to make his predictions, and use that insight to let the community at large know what's going on, what's being planned. So when he's talking about people like Ultron, he's speaking purely from a data mining standpoint. So he's looking in the data files and seeing work done and seeing new code introduced for Ultron, and that's what he shares. So it's like, data mining and leaking in general is two different things. So telling what's actually being done on the project is completely different from data mining itself. And again, it's like, you this is a part of gaming at this point. It's 2022. People are becoming more ravenous about information when it comes to games, to the point where they take in criminal activity and criminal action to get this information first. But it's crazy. Like, it's honestly just getting to a point where things are getting wildly out of control. And again, I feel bad whenever I see people on like Twitter attacking like Brian or anybody else about stuff that literally makes no sense for you to even be going to a developer about, especially if it's not something officially announced. I've said several times on this channel, and I know other creators themselves have shared this, that n- rumors aside, the developers can't confirm anything for you unless it's already been officially announced. So unless you see an official post from Play Avengers or Square Enix or Embracer Group or something like that, the developer can't say anything. So they can talk about Winter Soldier a little bit because we know he's announced. They've announced that he's coming. You have an official image that was released showing that he's coming. But outside of that, they can't say much about Winter Soldier. So they can't tell you what his gameplay looks like because that hasn't been revealed. They can't tell you what he can and can't do in the game because that hasn't been revealed yet. They can't tell you about his story beats because none of that has been revealed. So they can't speak about anything in an unofficial capacity that hasn't been revealed because they're under NDA. So if they do that, they are subject to being fired. They're subject to being, sued, things like that. Whatever is on the table for breaking that NDA, and whatever legal action Marvel chooses to take, the publisher chooses to take, they're at risk for doing stuff like that. So to go at them and be like, hey, Doctor Strange win, Wanda win, they can never tell you. And most people just don't understand that. So, when you're sharing, information, you have to be conscious of that. And when we share rumors, we have a responsibility to let you guys know, like, hey, this is purely speculation, or hey, this is purely a rumor. There is nothing official about this. This is just something that was shared, so it's coming from a reliable source. But again, until there's an official announcement like what you see on screen, it's purely speculation and rumor at that point. So no matter what Miller comes forward and says, so Miller can come forward today and be like, hey, She-Hulk is next. We can get excited. We can be like, oh, there's a high possibility of that being a thing, but until you get official word from Play Avengers, you have to take that with a grain of salt. And Miller understands that. Reasonable people in the community understand that, but there's such a large group of people who don't understand the nuance of something like that. And when they get disappointed with the idea of, oh, well, we heard She-Hulk was next and now we're seeing Winter Soldier, now they're flying off the handle. Now they're attacking people. You're attacking, content creators, you're attacking developers, you're attacking whoever you can find. And again, it was all just a rumor to begin with. It was never concrete. No matter how, credible the source is, things can be wrong. That's literally as simple as it gets. And again, for everybody who just popped in, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys coming through as always. The support is crazy. If you can, make sure you drop a like on the stream. That definitely helps support it. And again, for anybody just popping in and just, coming into the gaming community or anything like that, we're talking about the possibility of She-Hulk being canceled as an upcoming hero for Avengers because of leaks and rumors just kind of showing the developers' hands way too far in advance before they even possibly had things signed off on properly or things like that. And my personal stance is I don't believe they've gone as far as canceling her, but the conversation about, them possibly losing the licensing because of, rumors coming out ahead of time and before, official paperwork was signed off on and things like that, has been the subject about She-Hulk in the community in recent weeks. Other people with inside information or ties to developers have hinted at she possibly not being a thing in the game. I don't know how I said that. She-Hulk not being a thing in the game, but yeah, it's like I agree with Lejeune. It's like that's the main reason I don't overleak too much drama. Yeah, it's like it's crazy. I've honestly, if you notice, if you follow the channel, I've kind of taken a step back on that kind of stuff because it's like I'm looking at it and objectively stuff is just getting out of hand. So it's like I share things with you guys that I come across because yes, it's exciting and it's an interesting conversation. So like the Guardians crossover pitch, that supposedly, was something that they pitched to Embracer as a selling point for them allowing production to continue on Avengers. That's purely a rumor. Someone shared that rumor with me. There's nothing to substantiate that. There's nothing supporting that. And even if that was to come to fruition, that's so far out that like we still we don't even have Winter Soldier yet. You don't have Captain Marvel. You don't have any of the things we've been looking forward to for the past 2 years. And the idea of, the Guardians, that sounds great, but at this point in time, that seems so far fetched that it doesn't even matter. That's why I went ahead and shared it with you guys and talked about it, because ultimately it's that's so far out, it doesn't even matter at this point. By the time they get around to even approaching something like that, it'll be like brand new news all over again once that comes out. But yes, I always try to be conscious and aware of what I bring to the platform and what I share with you guys, because again, I don't want to be the person that's giving people reasons to go off and harass a developer because you got confused about information. I try to be as concise and clear with my delivery as I can and let you guys know exactly what it is. If it's my own speculation, I make that clear in each and every video. If it's a rumor, I try to make that as clear as possible. So until it's official, this is official. This is official. This is official imagery shared by the studio themselves. If it's not something like this, then it's just speculation. It's purely speculation and rumor. So again, even if the source is credible, it's speculation. All right. Again, another thing that I feel like may have affected their decision to kind of pivot away from her, if she was indeed the next planned hero, would be the conversation around echoes and clones. Jane Foster, that was the most recent hero that they dropped into the game, and she's clearly predominantly Thor. Her build is predominantly Thor. There's no getting around it. They added a few new bells and whistles, but you're pretty much playing Thor with a different skin and different abilities and stuff like that. So it's like Thor 2.0. And again, I appreciate it. I appreciate the changes that they brought to Jane Foster while using resources that they currently have in the game. So her ultimate comes from, is a combination of Thor and Hawkeye. Her melee attacks are a combination of Captain America and Thor. So it's like they did some interesting things. They did interesting things with her intrinsic abilities and things like that. Of like, you really know how the skill trees and everything work in the game. You can't help but be impressed with what they managed to pull off. Could they have done more if given more time? Possibly. But something that also gets lost in translation for some reason, this isn't a massive studio. They get compared to people like Bungie and Insomniac and things like that, but it's like they're not that large of a studio, and they don't have that many people on this project. They're a sizable studio, but they're spread out. So you got people working on Perfect Dark, you got people working on the new Tomb Raider, and you got people working on Avengers. And the people working on Avengers has decreased significantly from what they had prior to the game's launch. So you have multiple studios working on it. You got Nix's working on the PC port. You have Eidos Montreal helping out. You had a lot of hands on deck, and then once the game went live, that decreased. That number of team members decreased, and they're hiring currently to try to expand on the team, but they only have so many people. That number of people working on this game can be anywhere between 20 and 40 people, if not more, if not less. But they don't have a massive team working on the game. So they do what they can when they can, and it's like, I feel like that's something that really gets overshadowed in the demand for different things coming to the game. So yes, we want more villains, we want more heroes, we want new environments, we want better mechanics, we want all of this stuff, and we want our heroes to feel unique gameplay wise, and they know all of this. And you also want new skins every week. You want comic skins, you want MCU skins, you want, whatever skin you thought of or that you're in love with, you want all of those things. So it's like, they know all of this. This isn't lost on them. It's only so much they can do. In a day, in a week, in a month, they have a schedule that they try to stick to, that they hammer out, that outlines what they can and can't get done, which is why they stepped away from doing the roadmaps, because you don't want to oversell it. They had to readjust their roadmap several times in recent years because they had things on there that never showed up. So Cloning Lab never came. It's just now in a position to where it's actually going to launch. You got Patrol Mode. It was on the roadmap and it never came to the game. They had to pull it off and restructure it, and they're planning to release it in the near future, but that's embarrassing for them that you keep having to readjust your roadmaps and things like that. And they have to do things like that because you're losing team members. People are leaving the project. People quit the studio. People went on to something else, whatever. But you don't have that manpower anymore. And until this recent acquisition by Embracer, they didn't have the funding to even expand the team and hire to replace those roles. So someone else just had to do double the work or triple the work to accommodate, to make up for the loss of manpower. And it's like, that's extremely hard. You got to factor stuff like that in. So I like I said, I always try to be fair with them. And it's like, yes, there are a ton of things I wish the game did better. There are a ton of things I wish the community understood and did better on. But, we also have to accept things for what they are. So it's like, you can't make fun of them for being small in the same conversation, expecting all these outlandish demands of them. So it's like, yes, could they have done more with Jane Foster? Yes, if they had more time, if they had a bigger team, if they had, all of these other factors at play, yes, they can do a lot more as development. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you got adequate time, manpower, and availability. But they do what they can. I disagree, Kent. I don't think the game being a live service is what's actually been helping it, because it gives it the opportunity to change. You just have to really have a vision for what you want the game to be at launch. So much of this year has been dedicated towards fixing things that weren't correct at launch. So your events didn't make sense at launch. Your gear didn't make sense at launch. Your onboarding for new players didn't make sense at launch, and it arguably can still be better. But those are things they're working on now, and they only have the ability to do so because the game is live service. If this was a single player straight to market game like the Guardians of the Galaxy, what you get is what you got. That's it. There is no room to change things. There is no, continued development. There is nothing going on, because what you got is what you got. And I feel like the game being a live service game has helped it while also hindering it, because the game just doesn't have vision. What's good, Splash? How you doing? Appreciate you coming through, and appreciate Rebel Scene coming through, Keys of Destiny, Scott Dawson, everybody else. If I've overlooked you or didn't shout you out and notice you, I promise you I'm just in the flow of conversation, but I definitely appreciate you being here. Shout out Jazzy Butters as well, another content creator in the Avengers community. He gotta get some more videos out. He been leaving us hanging a few times, but he's definitely a up and coming creator in the community who is also a very good supporter of the people in the community as well, and I appreciate you. More people need to hear what you're saying. You're spitting fast. Like I said, bro, we just got to dial it back. You got other games you can play in the meantime. You got, other things you can do. Relax. We just got to dial it back. And again, if the idea of leaks are actually hurting the game, in that capacity to the point where they have to completely reshuffle the hero lineup, that's a completely different conversation. There's a conversation that needs to be had there. And we also all have to be accountable in how we interact with that. So whether you're sharing it or, you're part of the problem, you're part of the misinformation, you got to take accountability for that. So it's like, I understand the developers, making, posting things like that, like, oh, leaks are BS, because that directly affects what they have going on behind the scenes. While as a player, it's easy to get caught up in the perspective of, oh, well, it's nice to know what's going on. Whether I have to get that, through unofficial, means is whatever. But hey, it's your fault for not, sharing that information sooner. It's like, that's where we get into entitlement. So it's like, if I found out today that, there's real credibility that War Machine is coming to the game as the next hero, I'll be excited. Am I going to, start asking developers, oh, so when is War Machine coming? No, that literally makes no sense. Those two things don't connect. It just doesn't make sense. And that's what I think people have to understand more and realize these people, the developers are people. That's a person behind that. He's not just a name on Twitter. He's not just a random face on Twitter. It's a person. He got good days just like he got bad days just like you. So if somebody comes at you sideways and pop off at you about something that has that one that's not even their business, like they shouldn't even be talking about this to you. But again, it's like you have to factor stuff like that in, and it's like they're people. This is their job. They're passionate about it. They're actually on your side in a lot of ways. They want the same things. They want to give you the things that you want in the game. There's a lot that has to go into that before they can actually deliver on that. What's good, Corey Harris? How you feeling? But yeah, War Machine. Again, so many of the heroes they have playing, there's the instant conversation of, oh well, this is a clone, this is an echo. These people are lazy. The developers are lazy. They don't know what they're doing with this game. This game needs X, Y, Z, all of this other stuff. And it's like, if you don't like the game, what's good, Eastwood? How you doing, bro? Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, if you do not like the game, so you don't like the missions, you don't like the hero lineup. So you see, people like Winter Soldier and She-Hulk announced or rumored to be coming, and you're like, oh my god, why isn't it, Doctor Strange? Why isn't it this person? Why isn't it Vision? Why isn't it, that person? And then you don't want to turn on the game. You're like, oh, these missions suck. I don't want to play these missions. I don't want to, do the Warzone. I don't play the raid. I don't play the OLT. What are you doing here? And I'm not saying that to be mean, and I'm not saying you're wrong for being passionate or anything like that. I'm simply saying, if you don't enjoy the game, you don't enjoy the hero releases, you don't enjoy the mission design, you don't enjoy how they communicate, upcoming releases and things like that, or how they communicate content. You don't enjoy this. Like you're getting no enjoyment out of this. So it's like, why are you here? Why are you punishing yourself by sticking around and seeing where things go, or just complaining about whatever they share? So if they say, oh, we're doing this skin, you're complaining. Oh, well, this is the next hero, you're complaining. Oh, we have a new mission, you're complaining. It's like, if you're complaining about anything or everything rather, what are you doing here? So no criticism is warranted. That is not what I'm saying. If that's so you're paraphrasing what I'm saying instead of listening to what I actually said. Criticism is fair. But again, if you don't like the game, if you don't like anything about Avengers as it's currently constructed, you do not like the game as it is. You just don't like the game. If you don't like it, why are you playing it? If I don't like a game, so I don't like the current model of NBA 2K. I don't play 2K23. I didn't play 2K22 like that. I didn't play 2K21. If someone wants me to play, I'll entertain you, maybe, depending on my mood. But am I purchasing these games? Am I playing these games year in and year out? Is this what my whole play game and schedule is built around? No, because I don't enjoy those games. So I don't interact with them. I don't engage with them. I'm not following 2K news. I'm not following Ronnie 2K or anybody else like that, because I don't care what's going on. what's good, Faye Walker, bro? The man himself. Definitely check out Fate Walker. One of the more balanced, perspectives in the community. Everybody I interact with in the Avengers community, content creator wise, is dope. Like, I've met so many dope people in this community. It's crazy. But yeah, Ryan, I'm indeed gaming with the sub. Appreciate that. Ryan, I'm not trying to come down on you or anything like that, and I'm definitely not advocating that you have to completely agree with everything the developers do with this game, or you have to love everything they produce for this game. That's not what I'm saying. I myself have criticized the game. Majority of your content creators that you follow that talk about this game criticize the game. There's a difference between, criticism and hate spreading and just being completely negative with everything. So if I just completely, like, if I hate a restaurant, I don't like anything they sell. I don't want any other food. I hate your burgers. I hate your hot dogs. I hate pizza. I hate everything you offer on the menu. Everything you do is bad. But I show up every day. I eat there every day, every week. I keep coming here, but I hate it. The problem is on me. It's not the restaurant's problem at that point. It's like, bro, it's you. And that's what I don't think people understand. Like, you're not married to this game. You don't have to show up for this game every week. You don't have to follow this game every week. And that's not me saying you're wrong for wanting the game to be better. That's not me saying you're wrong for, wanting more of the things you like to come to the game. But if the game isn't that right now, and you don't see it becoming that anytime soon in the near future, step away. That's where the beauty of it being a live service game comes in, because it can change. This game looks completely different now than what it did in day one in 2020. And it can continue to change. It's going to continue to change. The main screen is going to change. So many aspects of this game are going to continue to change. It's changing slowly because they don't have a massive team. If they had the manpower to get this thing done and get it where they want it to be day one, you get what I'm saying, they would do that. There's only so much they can do. That's what I'm saying. Is it a live service game? Yes, it's live. You get new content every week. You get a new skin every week. You just got a new content drop this Monday or this Tuesday. Whether or not you enjoy that stuff, whether or not you choose to interact with it, is up to you. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like a stance like that, you're entitled. So you have a vision of what you want the game to be, how you want the game to function as a live service game, and that's blocking you from accepting what the game is. If you don't like what the game is, you as the consumer, you as the player, you as the person, have full control over how you interact with this game. I'm chilling, Corey, as always, bro. Just we talking about She-Hulk, we talking about Avengers, we talking about leaks, we talking about it all. But again, like I said, people want this character. There are a ton of people who, the second you mention She-Hulk, she's just going to be a clone. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. It's that. It's this. It's that. It's this. But people clearly want her. The numbers don't lie. These people speak for themselves. I can't speak for you. I can't tell you how you feel about She-Hulk. 2 content drops in a year. Is that live service? Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're debating the semantics of what you want a live service game to be. The game continues to get development. They're still working on the game. They're still adding stuff to the game. Whether or not you like what they change or what they add, that's solely up to you. But that doesn't change the fact that the game is still being worked on. No one's working on Guardians of the Galaxy. That game is literally done. What shipped is what you're getting. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's what a live service game is. If it's still getting content, it's alive. If it's not getting content, the game is what it was. Whether it was a live service game that got shut down, or whether it was never intended to be a live service game, if it no longer receives content, if no one's still developing and working on new content for the future, then it's not a live service game. If you're still getting updates frequently, it is a live service game. There is no disputing that. That's an objective fact. That's not my opinion. That's just what it is. That's the definition of a live service game. But again, like I said, I'm not telling. Nowhere in this stream have I told you guys be patient. I can't tell you that because you've been patient for 2 years, apparently, or maybe I don't know I don't know how you interact online. I don't know how you interact with developers and things like that. But again, you literally, I can't dictate to you to be patient with a game that you've probably already been more than patient with. So if they're not moving at a pace you're looking for or you're comfortable with, maybe you should move around. And that's not me being, get a gatekeeper or telling you, oh, if you don't enjoy it, just leave it because I enjoy everything they produce. That's not what's happening here. I'm not defending everything that they do. They've done a lot of things that don't make any sense. They've done things that shouldn't have been done, simply. You get what I'm saying? But again, if it gets to a point where I just don't enjoy this game, I don't want to play the game, I don't like the missions, I don't want to talk about the game, I'm out of here, bro. I am going. I'm not doing this every week for a game that I don't enjoy. If I didn't genuinely look forward to Winter Soldier, if I didn't genuinely enjoy turning on the game, kicking around Captain America's shield on people, I wouldn't be here. I love the game. I enjoy the game. Is it the best it possibly can be? No. Are they working to try to get it to a better place than what it's been? Yes. Am I willing to give them the time to get there? Yes. That I can't dictate the same to you, though. I can't tell you, like, hey, you get what I'm saying? I'm playing both sides of the fence, but I'm just in the middle, bro. I don't care that much either way. You're clearly on one side, but you won't walk away from the fence. That's the problem. You don't like the fence. You don't like the side of the fence you're on. Get out of there. Walk away from the fence. Again, they're not obligated to make you happy. They're not obligated to meet your specific needs and things like that. So again, you're entitled. Like I said, I don't know, how else to break it down for you, bro. But that mindset that you're sharing, that's a part of the problem, because you feel like the game has to meet your demands because you paid $60 2 years ago. That's not how this works. And if you are, like, oh, well, they're not improving, or it's not improving at the pace I want, that's on you, bro. That's on you. That's not on them. If they're not giving you what you want, it's on you. If you're not, you don't feel like you're being served yet, you keep showing up every week, that's 100% on you. So if that's how you choose to spend your time, I just can't relate. That's all I'm saying. I can't relate to it. It doesn't make sense to me. I got stuff to do. I got other stuff I'd rather do. I spend time on what I enjoy and what I'm passionate about. I don't spend time harassing and hating on stuff that I just clearly don't like. It makes no sense. But if that's how you interact, you're not alone in that. Clearly, it's a ton of people who interact like that on daily on the internet, on YouTube, social media. This is what people do. You got millions of people hate watching She-Hulk every week. Why? I don't know. That's how you live. That's how you do. Jack McBello with the sub. Appreciate that. You see what I'm saying? Like, listen to yourself, bro. Listen to you. You passionate about it. I'm a consumer. The product is. Come on, bro. You can criticize the game again, but if that's all you're doing, if all your criticisms are negative, and you're not enjoying anything about the product, what are you still doing with it? What uninstall the game. Stop playing the game. Stop following the game. Disengage with the game. You don't have to do it. You don't have to. Paying for it doesn't obligate you to play the game. At this point, 2 years later, because you paid for it 2 years ago, does not obligate you to play the game. It doesn't obligate you to follow the social media. It doesn't obligate you to do anything. You have full freedom and control over how you interact with the game. And you're clearly not happy. Is it a live service game? Oh, they need to do this. I should get this. I want it to be this. All right, well, if it's not those things, you have full control over how you operate with it. Let's be honest, there are not millions of people watching She-Hulk. Hey, bro, the numbers don't lie. Look up all the hate videos and everything on She-Hulk on YouTube alone. There's like, people tuning in just to be a part of the conversation. But yeah, it's like I said, and that's not me telling you guys like, oh, well, if you don't enjoy everything about this game, you should leave because, you have no place in the community or anything like that. No, I'm simply saying for your own mental health, bro, just so you can have some happiness in your life. Instead of hate playing Avengers and hate following Avengers, you could be playing something that's really, really fun, and you could be in a community that you really enjoy. The developers get it. The developers are meeting your communication demands. The game is giving you everything you're looking for from a game. I understand you want it to be a Marvel game that's doing that, but maybe this game just ain't going to get to that point for you, and at some point you got to accept that. Again, that's what I'm saying. If you feel like you're being gaslit, get out of there, bro. It's like you stuck with a cheating girlfriend and you keep showing up for the lies. Like, everything she says is a lie. She showed you she's lying every day, but you keep showing you're committed to this relationship. You won't break up with her. So at that point, who is it on, bro? Like, it's on you. And that's just me being real. So like I said, I can't tell you any other way. I can't tell you what to do with this game. You're gonna do what you want to do regardless. It just doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying. What's good, Cobra Gamer? How you doing? But yeah, it's like it's crazy, bro. Like I just don't get it. But that's where we at. All right, what is this? My fault. Clearing up the chat a bit. But yeah, it's like, again, if she's ultimately counseled, behind, information getting out ahead of schedule and stuff like that, I would understand the developers being pissed about that. I would understand. The players are going to be disappointed, like But essentially, like I said, we did it to ourselves. What's good, Shaquest? And Toby Moran with the sub, appreciate that. And shout out to Shaquez, bro. His birthday was yesterday. I don't know how old you made, but I hope you have fun. And I'm glad to see you around another year. And thank you for always supporting and showing up. I always see you in the comments and everything like that. I definitely appreciate you. Didn't Odin get you the sauce about the Seahawks? Hey, like I said, that's until it's official. We don't know. We don't know. So Odin, Peter Odin, he started the conversation about She-Hulk being canceled. Fate Walker, he just threw out that speculation yesterday. Like we don't know. We don't know what's going on. S1 Banger with the sub. Appreciate that. Though what we know is that the team is very small and the expectations we will get much year to year content wise need to be lower until they get a bigger team. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what's going on. All right, Ryan, bro, we gonna get you up out of here, bro. We gonna find you a hate channel or something, bro, because that's what you're looking for. And I'm not. First of all, you're not gonna tell me what to do over here, and second of all, it's like, bro, you don't know how to have a balanced opinion. You don't understand that. You run off on opposite ends of the spectrum. So you either in love or you in hate, and you don't know how to exist in the middle. I can't teach you that, but I'm not. That's not what this stream is about. So find the stream that you're looking for, where you getting the messages you're looking for. If you hate the game, go find somebody that hates the game. Look it up. There's plenty of people with I hate Avengers videos for you. Go find that community. But again, it's like this is the perfect example of what I'm saying. It's like, bro, like what are you even doing here? It's Sunday. It's 2:00 on a Sunday, and this is what you doing with your time. You mad because I'm not addressing the criticism? What criticism are you talking about? That's all we do is talk about the criticism of the game. I literally just put out a review criticizing what the damn thing was, what the update was, the content drop. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. It's like, bro, like I just don't get it. I don't get it, bro. I don't know why you're so obsessed with everybody agreeing with what you want to say or how you feel about the game. Like, just because you're not enjoying the game doesn't mean I have to feel the same way. I don't care that much. This game doesn't affect my mood week to week. I don't care. If we get exciting news, that's cool. Will I be disappointed if it's ultimately revealed that She-Hulk was canceled or is no longer coming to the game? Yeah, that sucks. They did work. You got an actress coming. I know the gameplay was gonna be dope. So it's like, I'm all for it. But again, I also understand that it's ramifications and consequences to doing stuff. So if the leaks affected their production to that degree, hey, like I said, maybe Winter Soldier was too far in production for them to roll things back at that point when Miller came forward and said that he was the next one. There we go. Yeah, bro, like no one is obligated. No, nobody's obligated to play this game, support this game, anything like that. If the game isn't giving you what you want, you gotta ride out, bro. You gotta ride out. Looking for everybody to feel how you feel, that's not it. Like I said, go find it. Just go find that. You're not gonna find it. You're not gonna find me living in extremes. So I'm not so in love with this game that I will ignore all criticism and I'll never have any criticism. That's not how I live. But I don't hate the game. I literally wouldn't have a channel talking about it week in and week out if I didn't like this game. That's literally how that goes. Like I can't interact like that. I can't live like that. I don't need that. It's like I said, I get it. People just don't know how to process. You confusing being passionate with just absolute, just blind hate. Like, bro, you mad about the game? Just let it go. Oh, I want it to be better. Okay, well, it's not getting better. You've been saying you want it to get better for years at this point. It's not getting better. Or it's not getting better fast enough, or it's not becoming what you want it to be. So this game will never be what you want it to be. Let the game go. Casual show, and I guess so. That's what I'm saying. In this community, you're everything. You literally everything. You say, oh, the dev team a break. You're a defender. You say, oh, this update was trash. Oh, you're just hating on it. You guys need to manage your expectations. So it's like this community is getting all over the place, and it's like that's why I'm talking about the leaks. Like, this stuff is getting out of control. What's good, Doom Killer? How you doing, bro? Mr. Nick Fury, the man who podcast started the conversation we having today. Yeah, it's like I said, I would love to have She-Hulk as the next character announced for this game. I'll take whoever they announce ultimately, but again, I'm not alone in that. Do you guys want She-Hulk as the next hero on Avengers? 56%, yes. That's out of 2,500 people, and that's just over here. That's not my whole community. That's just the people that took the time to vote. But yes, that was the answer. Yes, we want She-Hulk. So yes, you're gonna have a lot of people disappointed if she ultimately was canceled. But I'm personally hoping that they just shifted the order around to have some element of surprise. And again, Miller caught him, with that uppercut between the gloves. And hey, fortunately for them, he said he's not doing that anymore. He's not interested in doing that anytime soon. So their next release will come completely under their control. So they got control over the timing. They got control over the release of information and everything like that. So we will be surprised to a degree. So if they announce She-Hulk, it's like, hey, well, we knew she was in development, but we didn't know for sure that she was next. We didn't know if she was canceled. We didn't know what was going on. So you will be surprised no matter who they announce. And that's exactly where they want players to be with this game. There's always another leaker. Hey, like I said, at this point, the leaks are just getting out of control because, like I said, people don't really know how to process that information. Like, you can't go whoop the developers over the head with that because somebody told you Doctor Strange was guaranteed. It's like, if it's not official, bro, you got to dial it back. Well, yeah, as Fate Walker shouted out in the chat, yeah, you guys, if you're interested and you got some free time on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, you can check out Sadat the Gamer, myself, and Jay Shockblast over on Sadat's channel at the After Show podcast, where we talk about the Avengers, we talk about all the gaming news, all of that good stuff. And it's legitimately a fun time. We just hang out and vibe and just, share our ideas and things like that and thoughts on what's going on in that weekend in gaming, MCU, all of that good stuff. They surprised me with Mighty Thor. How else can they surprise me? Like I said, if you don't follow like leaks or content creators and things like that, you're in that sweet spot for them to surprise you a lot. And again, like even if you step away from the news of this game, there's still a way to be in the loop. So you stop following the news. You don't know about the next few updates, and then you come back. Oh, well, War Machine is coming, or Captain Marvel is finally coming. She was announced. That would be surprising. That would be exciting news for you, especially as somebody who stepped away for a while and you wanted to wait until you got more exciting heroes. So Winter Soldier isn't exciting because, he's on the ground, he's shooting, he's punching. I don't really want to do that. Okay. You can step away for a while, come back. All right, let's see how much has changed. Oh, they got patrol mode now. They got join in progress now. They got this now. They got that now. It's a little different than what I got because on a update to update basis, this game isn't going to change all that much. It just really isn't. Still hating in every little detail. Shield. I see you, Fate. But yeah, bro, like I said, I'm not trying to tell people how to feel. I'm not trying to tell people what you can and can't do with this game. You're going to do you regardless. I'm just trying to help you out, honestly. Like, if you've been hating this game since its launch and you're still here, It's better ways to spend your time. That's not me gatekeeping. It's not my game. I don't have entitlement about this game. I I can give you 1,000 ideas about how it would be more fun for me and people who are like me, but I can't demand that you put those things in the game. I can't demand that you make those changes. I can't demand when you make those changes. I have to understand and be fair about what you are able to do as a developer, as a team. You got limitations. If you guys was like, hey Kaz, we want 6 videos a day for the next 2 months. That's tough. I don't have a production team behind me. You get what I'm saying? It's like I can tell you what I can and can't do, and we gonna have to you got to understand. That's all you can do. So that's all I'm saying. You just got to understand what this game is and what it can and cannot be. So all of these outlandish, oh, I want it to be Unreal Engine 5, and I want all of this, and I want it to be able to do that. They may not be able to do that. They're probably not going to be able to do that. And it's like, if that's a deal breaker for you, put the game down. Don't show up every week hating under every post. Don't come into streams where people just talking about Avengers or something completely different, and just beating them down with what you want the game to be or why you so disappointed and stuff like that. It's like, bro, if you've been disappointed for over 2 years, why are you still choosing disappointment? Because you're choosing it at that point. It's funny because the people who hate on the game click on every video. It's like, I don't know why you need to share that everywhere you go. Oh, this sucks, or this game sucks, or this sucks, and this, that, and the other. It's plenty of people who just step away from this game. High Ruler. When I found that guy a year ago, he was one of the few people using Captain America of all people. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, he's showing up for you guys every week. He was an insider for the game. He did it all, and at some point he just got disappointed with what the game is, and he recognized that it's not going to be what he wants it to be. He was even tempted to come back to check out this update and found out, hey, well, it's a pretty short villain sector, and you got a few hero buffs, and he was like, yeah, that's not worth it. That's not worth me coming back for it. And he's in his own lane, having fun playing other games, open to the option of coming back at some point, but right now it's just not that time for him. And it's like, that's reasonable, that's fair. He doesn't want to talk about the game day in and day out, and he's not forcing himself to. He's not showing up, oh, you guys are still playing that dead game and stuff like that. He's not doing stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying. If you want the game to be good, you want the game to get certain things, and you have criticism about it, you can deliver that criticism without coming across hateful and rageful and all of that stuff. Like, you don't have to come shouting in people's stream or shouting on the developer post. Like, he's talking about, hey, I had a Subway sandwich today. Well, what about Avengers? It's like, bro, like, let the man live. Stall him out for that one post. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, we get it. You don't like the game. We don't have to hear it every day, every week, every post. Relax. Just relax. But for you guys in the chat, drop a 1 in the chat if you feel like She-Hulk is canceled. Drop a 2 in the chat if you feel like there's a possibility she's still coming. That's what Alien was saying. Yeah, bro. Like, I was definitely checking out the stream last night, Doom, and Jay caught me off guard at the end. I'm like, oh man. But I'll get him on our podcast this week. Got a lot of twos. I don't think She-Hulk is currently their main focus. Yeah, it's like I said, I can see them holding her off, for a release or two, just to let, rumors, kind of her, ultimately being canceled kind of ramp up, and just people kind of forgetting about her as a possibility, and then bam, here goes She-Hulk. Especially, again, if Miller isn't in the picture, if Miller isn't telling us what's going on and what they have planned and stuff like that, we're in the dark for the most part. We're 100% in the dark, and it's like that's ideal for the development team. That's what they want. They want you to be completely caught off guard when they have something exciting that they bring to the table. And it's like, whether or not you as a player agree with that, that's something you gotta come to your own decision on. But I understand both sides, so I understand why they feel the way they feel about leaks, and I also understand why they want to be able to control the narrative about the information they share about their game. Can I put a 3 for I don't know? Hey, I preach the gospel of I don't know, so that's what's up. Hey, you don't know, you don't know. It's fine. Like I said, none of us know. It's all purely what you think, speculation. I don't think we will get She-Hulk. I get it. It's like, like I said, it's an interesting conversation, and it's definitely something to think about, in the future with major leaks, major spoilers, and things like that, and how that can affect the game, and how, sharing different rumors affects the game and the developers themselves. What's up, Meepa? Appreciate you coming through. I think there's a 30% chance we see her. I would give her about 70%. I'm gonna go the opposite way. I think they did enough work on it. I don't feel like, outside of like them really getting penalized by losing the license because of information getting out way ahead of schedule. I don't think so. But even then, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Because Miller, he didn't officially say it was going to be Jane Foster until maybe a week or two ahead of an official announcement for her, but he was suggesting it. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm so chill. Glad you subbed. Yeah, bro. It's like we just hanging out, bro. It's Sunday. It's literally Sunday, bro. Like, I'm not ranting and raving on a Sunday. We chilling, talking about, Avengers. Like, nobody would be here if you didn't care about this game and didn't love it in some way, and it's okay if you enjoy the game. Like, if you enjoy the game, just relax and enjoy it. That's clearly what has to be going on. Like, I don't know why people do that as well. Like, they publicly, present themselves like they hate the game so much, and it's just, so far beneath their standards. But you find them online. You in the game hardcore, bro. Like, you got more hours than everybody in the game, but publicly, oh no, that game is terrible, and this, that, and the other. It's like, come on, man, keep it a buck. The Marvel's Avengers Church. Nah, I wouldn't go that far. But it's like this image we got on screen, bro. Avengers has ruined my way of living. Hey, down tremendous if that's the case. But yeah, bro, it's like this villain sector, people were just looking for so much more fun and activity from that villain sector than what they got. And again, that's fair. Past the casual. No. Not this Sunday. It's like, if you watch my stream when I was playing this, when I first played this villain sector, I was like, bro, it's underwhelming. I wish we got more story beats. I wish we got a cutscene or two or more. But again, that's my own personal feelings. I can't put that. I'm not going straight to Twitter. This DLC was ass, and this was terrible. All the developers are lazy. They're doing this. We don't know their situation, bro. They're literally transitioning. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're transitioning from one publisher to the next. You got some people who didn't stay for that transition. You got original team members who have moved on and stuff like that. We don't know what their day-to-day looks like. So maybe they genuinely didn't have as many people as they did at the start of this year, while working on this new Warzone. So they did the best they could, possibly. We don't know. I'm not making excuses for them. I literally don't know. I'm not a developer for Crystal Dynamics. I don't work on Avengers. I don't know what the hell is going on over there. I can speculate, but at the end of the day, I can just tell you how I felt about it. So, did I feel like the content was underwhelming? Yes. Did that break the game? Did it end the world? No. It doesn't matter. Like, it's a villain sector I'm probably not going to play. I don't play any other villain sectors. I'm not going in there playing the villain sectors every week. I don't play the hives like that unless I have to. I don't play majority of the content on the map unless I have to, because I just don't. I've done all I need to do with it. So again, it's like, it's No different than anything else. I hope that Cloning Lab is. Well, I anticipate Cloning Labs being a lot more engaging than this Warzone because it's just a Warzone. You do a couple, objectives and you get to the boss at the end. It's not meant to be that deep. Cloning Lab won't be as deep as a raid, but it's going to be a little more nuanced than a villain sector. So it's like I get my engagement out of that. I got Avengers! Dylan Jones with the sub. Appreciate that. Thank you for becoming an Avenger. But yeah, it's like I got plenty of people to get through that content. I can get higher level gear, all of that good stuff. It's like I'm good with it. I'm looking forward to that. I got a new hero coming that I can play with, so it's like I'll find my ways to get what I want out of the game without over scrutinizing them and over criticizing them for doing what they can. It's like if you feel like they're not doing enough, if you feel like the game isn't good enough for you and stuff like that, that's fair. But if you've been feeling like that for going on 2 years, it's like that's all I'm saying. Like, what are we doing at this point? If you talk to new players, if you talk to actual new players who only been playing this game for like a month or two or a little more, they love that. They love this content. They thought the story advancement was great. They thought the villain fight was great. The villain fight isn't even functioning properly. You got some A posing, you got the clones not spawning. That's going to be patched in an upcoming update. But it's like, yeah, even as it is, those people have fun playing this new content. If you've been jaded on this game for going on 2 years, this content wasn't going to save the game for you. It wasn't going to, reignite that flame of passion or nothing like that. It just isn't designed to do that. Cloning Labs may not do that. It's more than likely not going to do that. Bucky isn't going to do that for you. What you want from this game, you won't even reach that point until maybe like 5 or 6 updates down the line, depending on what those updates are. I'm really hoping Patrol Mode delivers something that people really can enjoy day in and day out or week in and week out, so that a lot of that anger can kind of dissipate from people who just want to play the game every day. They want something fun to do every day. Because again, you're not wrong for feeling like that. Do you think Clone Labs will be a better OLT versus the last one after seeing how this villain sector ranked versus the other ones? I think so. The original OLT I don't like the way it was designed. And if I didn't have to go in there to get gear to level up, I probably wouldn't play it as often. Like it can be a fun challenge to see how your heroes are doing damage wise. So like you can solo the boss and everything like that. That's fine. But I don't like fighting the warbot. I don't like collecting time. And standing on platforms and stuff like that is like that's never been something I've been a fan of. I would prefer to just fight. So it's like when you get to the final area before the Adaptoid spawns, I would prefer to just fight enemies, like fight like 2 or 3 waves of enemies in there, maybe 5, and just do that. Just give me waves of enemies. That's all I want to do. I don't want to stand on buttons. I don't want the warbot. That's because it has to go. It takes so long transitioning between phases. It's like that's what makes it not fun for me. It's like if we could just attack that thing and get it down and get it out of the way, that would be fine. It wouldn't be nearly as unengaging for me. Yeah, Beating the Odds is a villain sector. Beating the Odds was fun. If they buffed her a bit, or just kind of tweak that villain sector a bit to make it more engaging, because it's like now you can just come in there and delete her. But like I said, day one, I was having a hell of a time trying to beat her because I went into that villain sector with Black Panther, and my Black Panther was built mostly for melee. So I can get her down just at the end, but it's like once I get her to that final phase, I couldn't do enough damage to get her to fully beat her with Black Panther. But once I realized, okay, well, I need to do this, I need to lean more with a range character. I think I went in with Hawkeye or Iron Man, one of those two, and it's like, it still was a bit of a fight, because I don't even think my heroes were all 150 at that point. But it was a bit of a fight, but it was a lot easier than doing it with Black Panther. But even with Black Panther, I was giving her a run for her money, so it's like that was fun. I liked the story that was added and everything like that. So Beating the Odds was dope, and when they said, this new villain sector would be in the same vein as Beating the Odds, I was expecting a little more fun, a little more, engaging story beats, and we didn't really check those boxes. So it's like, I feel like it's similar to Beating the Odds, as in the amount of time it takes to really beat and complete. So it's like, dealing with generators and stuff like that, like the phase you go through right before reaching Monica and Beating the Odds. I feel like that's a little more engaging than this. So it's like the puzzling and everything is a little more complex than what you got here, where you just destroy 4 generators, run up a hall, and then you fight Monica. So it's like it's extremely brief, but again, it moves the story forward. It gives you what they said they would deliver. We just wanted a little more meat on the bone, and it's like I said, that's just, that all comes down to personal opinion. What's up, Brian? Was She-Hulk canceled? Not officially. That's a rumor going around. That's something people are speculating about, and that's why we're talking about it here today. Is she canceled? We do not know. I'm hoping that she isn't. I know some people are probably going to be delighted at the idea that she's possibly canceled, but I personally hope that they ultimately do bring her to the game. I just want to see her design. I want to see how she plays. I'll take her. I like to fight Crossbones in a new villain sector. And they know that. It's about finding time and resources for that. So originally, MODOK wasn't a planned villain sector. Crossbones wasn't a planned villain sector. Brian, acknowledged that on Twitter. He gave insight into why that was, because the way they're designed, they were initially just designed for a single player encounter, and to be multiplayer, they would have to go through a bit of a redesign to accommodate multiplayer engagement. And again, we like, okay, well, why wasn't that a thing? Why wasn't that already a part of the thought process of, okay, well, you'll fight them single player, and then we'll restructure them for a multiplayer like you did for Taskmaster and Abomination. And again, they possibly just didn't have the time to do something like that. So it's like, it comes across as like short-sighted, but at the same time, they probably had higher priorities. So all hands were probably on deck, getting the next hero up to speed, or getting, working on War for Wakanda, or, whatever. We don't know what they were doing or why they didn't do certain things. They don't share that kind of information, but he did share that, in order for a villain to, go from a single player engagement to a multiplayer engagement, they do have to kind of redesign things a bit. And that's why we're seeing MODOK now, and hopefully we'll see Crossbones at some point in the future as multiplayer. It's possible? It's just a possibility we may see her. Yeah, like I said, I'm hoping that we see her. I think she would be a great addition to the game. If they can, restructure things, so if we can get somebody that's, a flyer or two before we get She-Hulk, that's cool too. Like, that's fine. It's solely up to their discretion. Why would people not want She-Hulk in the game? Is it because she is a woman? Echo. You got the conversation around her being an Echo because she's a Hulk, and people are like, oh, well, she's just going to be just like the Hulk, even though she's not. They are completely different characters. Like, that's the point of her. Like, she is her own unique character. She doesn't suffer from the same problems as Bruce or anything like that. She doesn't have, loss of control of her, mental faculties or anything like that when she's the Hulk. She has finesse techniques. She has wrestling techniques. She has grappling techniques. She has, a completely different approach to fighting and combat than the Hulk, who is just a wild brute who demolishes whatever he touches. Like, that's what the character does. That's what he is. He picks up stuff and smashes it. He picks you up and smashes you. It doesn't get much deeper than that. Where She-Hulk, she's a little more methodical. She can, actually think about what she wants to do, run over, give you a double, running drop kick to the chest or something like that. Suplex you, power bomb you. She can swing you around by your legs above her head and slam you. She can do all kind of stuff because she knows full well what she wants to do. The Hulk just wants you to die, essentially. Like, he just wants to get you over with. What villains would you like to see cast? What do you think could fit within the gameplay story? Um, Anybody, honestly, anybody could fit. It's all about just crafting a narrative of why they showed up in the story. I'm interested to finally get AIM out of the picture. I want to see Ultron. I want to see their design for Roy once he becomes Ultron. I want to see just more smaller villains as well. So just like the Wrecking Crew, people like Whirlwind, somebody like what's his name? The Absorbing Man. I don't know why I was about to call him the Abomination Man. The Absorbing Man. More like Gamma villains and things like that. Just something to fight. There's people you can throw in like a patrol mode in the Utah City area. Like that would be cool because it's like you got small buildings around there. You got a police station. You got a small town that you can literally run around and setting up villain engagements and things like that would be cool. So doing like a Gamma World scenario where the people in the community are turning into Gamma creatures or they're being attacked by Gamma creatures. That would be dope. New enemy design. That's what I want. Just something new, something different from AIM. We've been fighting these people for 2 years, and they know it. That's why that's the point of the new content. They're using this content to drive the story forward because we haven't turned the page in almost 2 years. We're turning the page from AIM. I think we did the math, and there are like 22 or 23 villains already canon in the game. Yeah, it's like it's all about bringing them here. Like you got, villains from this prequel novel that they can introduce here. That would be awesome. And it's like, I want to fight multiple villains. So like multiplayer mode should have multiple villains. So you should have at least like 2 or 3 bosses, up to 4, if the system can handle that or the engine can handle that. If we can handle 4 bosses at the same time, that would be amazing. Because again, like everybody's build for the most part is at a point where you can solo bosses on your own. You play villain sectors by yourself all the time and you're beating up Abomination just fine. You're beating up Taskmaster just fine. So give us all of that in one place. You get what I'm saying? So give us Abomination with Taskmaster and Crossbones. And just let us go at it. Let us go at it. Throw a couple waves of enemies in there just to make it more engaging and let us have at it. More if you pay close attention to the conversation between NPCs and collected comics. Yeah, it's like this, the game has a ton of potential, and they're starting to work more with narrative and things like that. So, Brian, he's working a lot closer with narrative than he was a year ago. And as he's very excited about the story, the lore, and things like that, and he has a ton of stuff he wants to do. I want them to do more iconic missions. I really think that's something that they are sleeping on. Like that is an aspect of the game that has a ton of potential. Like so much potential for like story, advancement, shining the focus on specific heroes. I made a video saying that iconic missions would be a great way to introduce new heroes into the game. You can finally pay off that Loki tease that you've been doing for the past 2 years. It's like, let's get there. And it's like Brian, like if you checked out his streams, he talks about different lore for the game, like the Inhumans, Loki, and what was going on with the Jane narrative and things like that. Like they didn't randomly add Loki to that trailer. They didn't make Loki a prominent part of Jane's story for no reason. They're trying to get back on page or back on track with where the story was supposed to be going. Like I said, things were in flux behind the scenes for a bit. You got an acquisition going on. You got people on the team being divided up into other projects and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's like some of this stuff sat still for a while. And luckily for them, so many people were still sticking around. So many people stuck around and was like, hey, I still enjoy this game enough to stick around and play. And I'm still excited enough to see what you guys are doing and what we're going to get going forward. as you can see, there are plenty of people disgruntled and just unhappy with the game overall. But so many people are willing to continue to give this game a chance. I myself have said on stream multiple times and in videos, I don't think you can have another year like this and still like even make it to the end of the year. So if your first 2 or 3 updates for the year are extremely underwhelming or are primarily geared towards newer players solely for the most part, you're gonna lose a large chunk of your player base. A lot of your veteran players are going to just kind of get out of the game because there's nothing there for them. So if cloning labs isn't a lot of fun and patrol mode isn't close behind in the pipeline, you're gonna see a significant drop off in player numbers that were your veteran players because they are running out of things to do, things that they enjoy doing, and things that they can look forward to doing because you keep showing them that the priority and the focus is going solely or disproportionately towards your newer players. And again, newer players, that's the lifeblood. That's who are going to be the people coming in excited to buy skins, excited for the new content because they're not jaded, they're not worn out, they're not, just over playing the same content, over and over and over again. They've been doing their thing. They're enjoying it. They're loving the campaigns. They're loving operations. They're loving, hey, we just got Bucky, and the wait between Jane Foster and Bucky is nowhere near as long as the wait between Hawkeye and Black Panther. So it's like, the new players are inheriting a better game, but the veteran players, you got to show them some love. You got to give them a bone, not a small bone that you throw in on the side of an update like hero buffs and event reworks and stuff like that. Like a real meaningful bone where you gave them some content that was really dedicated towards wowing and keeping them engaged for the foreseeable future. And that's what I'm hoping patrol mode is. Something for veteran players to really enjoy, really have a lot of fun farming. Like the gear is really worth farming and things like that. The villain interactions are cool. That's what I'm hoping patrol mode is. War for Wakanda was one of the best updates. Yes, it brought so much to the game. The only downside to the War for Wakanda was that it was free. It was released for free, and it didn't offer anything multiplayer-wise. Which, they brought out the raid a couple weeks later, but, the operation itself didn't do anything for the multiplayer side of things. And the people who, interacted with that content got it for free, and most of them didn't stick around, 2 or 3 weeks later interacting with the marketplace beyond that. So maybe they stuck around and got Black Panther's MCU skins, and after that they were done. Like, all right, well, I'll wait for another operation, and as you can see, there's been no new operations. There will be no new operations. So a lot of those people may not be coming back, and you could have capitalized on that influx of new people coming in for that content by selling it. But the developers have committed to not selling content outside of skins, takedowns, nameplates, and marketplace items. Like I said, as as someone with an understanding of business and economics, I don't think that's clearly it's clearly not the best business model for a live service game, but that's a model they're committed to sticking to. And clearly they're not doing bad on the skins, on the skin side of the revenue. So it's like, hey, but selling operations for $14 and up, I would definitely, especially as considering how much time goes into making that content, I get it. I 100% get it, and I would buy that operation in a heartbeat, just because I know it supports the game, just because I know it greatly increases the chances of me seeing more of that kind of content coming forward. I wish you could, if you could get early access to heroes, you can get early access to Bucky if you pay, if you pay a pre-order price or you play and for an expansion pass or something like that. People would do that, and the game would make a ton of money. If people can get Bucky now instead of waiting until October, November, people would pay for that. Or you can get Bucky early November or early October if you pay. Everybody who doesn't want to pay, you're still getting them. You're just getting them at the original date that he was scheduled to release. I feel like that's a pretty fair middle ground for that. That makes sense for the market. When do I usually stream? Usually when I have time, but I'm trying to narrow down the schedule. That's something I've been working on. It's just like I'll have a stream in mind, and then here comes life. Here comes life, and with the side hook, and I try to work around it, or I do the best I can. But I try to stream at least a couple times a week. That's my goal now. I definitely would have paid at least $20 for War for Wakanda. Yeah, and it's like it's plenty of people who feel the same and who are willing to do the same, and it's like at some point I think they should take advantage of that. But again, obviously they're doing all right with the skins. If they are committed to just sticking with selling skins and takedowns, they give away skins. They have pretty frequent sales. So it's like they're not hurting as much as people would have you believe, I guess. Whoever the artist is on creating the shipment skin this week, or just a rehash. Oh wait, that skipped around. On creating the outfits now, they're doing an amazing job. I'm like, wait, that didn't make sense. But yeah, the new art team, they've been killing it, and they've been outsourcing skins lately. Like they've Brian spoke about outsourcing different things, as needed, and clearly skins were something they can trust outside team with, as long as they let them know what they need it to be, how they need it to be, and all of that stuff, and get everything signed off on. And clearly that's been functioning. They've been keeping the skins coming weekly. Not all MCU skins, but they have a very steady pipeline of new skins coming, and that's not something they had this time last year. They have a pipeline that they are working on for villains and heroes and everything. They said they learned a lot about how to kind of shave down the time it takes to create new heroes with Jane Foster. So it's like you're going to see the benefits of that as the team expands. They're still hiring. They're still looking to expand and things like that. And like I said, this year they used the resources they had to get out what they can, while also making fundamental changes to the game as it is that needed to be there, changes that needed to be there from launch that for whatever reason weren't there. And I feel like we'll see the fruits of what they're putting into place now start to take shape in 2023. Or at the very least, that's the hope. That is the hope. That the hiring they're doing now, the training and everything, the expanding of the team, all of that's going to start paying off a lot going into next year. I don't expect next year to look like this year at all. But again, if they do, if for whatever reason next year starts off the way that 2022 starts off, I would be surprised if they make it to the end of the year, because you're going to take a hit. You're going to take a hit player base wise. And that means less people buying marketplace skins. That means less people interacting with the content week in and week out. So, that's just stuff we have to consider and take into account. Since we don't have roadmaps anymore, you got to give us some vague about the Marvel's Avenger future. Example, teaser clip during streams, no release date, but let us know it's coming. Yes, it's like, I think, like what they're doing, or what they've been doing with, they'll announce a patch. So they'll tell us, 2.6 is next, and this is what's coming in 2.7, without giving us major details on that. I think they like how that's been performing, but we can always give feedback on it, and they take that into account. So I believe the feedback that they got about this new villain sector will be taken into account about the next one. So they will try to do a little more with the next villain sector based on player reception to this most recent one. So it's like they hear the feedback. It's just they can only get to it when they can, and they can only do what they can. Why do you think the team hasn't been doing a thing with the challenge cards? I don't think they found an easy solution for that. Something that they can maintain and consistently deliver on. I think that's something they're still exploring. I just don't think it's been a high priority, and possibly because they haven't come up with a clear solution for that. What did I find that picture of She-Hulk? It was on Google. I love to see that look in the game. Yeah, it's like like I said, I'm not worried about how she'll look in the game. I know that's going to be, I know they're going to deliver on that front. I know her iconic design is going to be dope. I know a lot of her cosmetics are going to be dope. I want to see it. I want to see Bucky. I'm really looking forward to seeing Bucky. And we get a small glimpse here. And the details we got are dope. Like, he got some cracking on his arm. We don't know where that comes from. What did that to him. But he's obviously seen some fights with it. We got his assault rifle. He's got his iconic long hair. We just like we were excited to see Jane Foster. It's certain things I just don't worry about with them. So it's like I'm not worried about the cosmetics. You're doing a good enough job on the cosmetics. And they've also recognized that people, weren't fans of the recolors. And they moved away from that. So it's like they hear you, they hear your feedback, they take it to account. It just sometimes takes a bit of time to get the response you're looking for because they can only do so much. They got other priorities. So just because you're shouting about it doesn't mean it moves up the priority list, because if they operated like that, the priority list will always change day in and day out and nothing would ever get done. So they do what they can when they can. They prioritize what they can when they can, and they, deliver what they can. Can we just appreciate how much effort they are putting into these reworks of skins? Holy God, the cell shaded cap. Yeah, bro, like they got stuff up their sleeves. They got stuff they want to do. They want you to be surprised. They're working on cool stuff that they can't talk about, that they're excited for you to see. They were excited about the reveal of Bucky. They were deflated by the fact that we got the news early thanks to Miller, and they wish you completely did not see Winter Soldier coming at all. That's what they're aiming for. So like with Insomniac, when they announced Wolverine, a new Wolverine game, everybody was caught off guard with that. No one was expecting that. And that's what every developer is going for with their branding, with their brand announcements, and with their content announcements. They want you to be completely caught off guard with something exciting. So when they do release Captain Marvel, or they do, plan to release Captain Marvel, they want you to be completely caught off guard with that. They want you to be completely caught off guard with She-Hulk. And it's like, I get it. But also, as a player, I would like to know, just to know something is coming. Something cool is coming, because we go so many long stretches without any information, without any, form of communication from the team. So it's like, I will never say that Miller, was a bad thing, because it's like so many people, he gave us something to talk about, just something to talk about. Just something to talk about. Even though, like I said, I always present what he says as rumors and speculation, but again, it's something to talk about. So when he came out and said, hey, there's a mystery hero being worked on, there was nothing else validating that. There was nothing official supporting that, but it's a rumor. And coming from a credible source whose rumors have panned out in the past. And it was a conversation for a few weeks until he shared more details. And then ultimately he came out and said, hey, it's Jane Foster. I'm confident that that's going to be revealed in a few weeks. And that panned out. So it's like, as somebody who's just a fan of the game and the conversation surrounding the game, I appreciate both sides, and I understand how both sides look at it and how they view it. But like I said, there are negatives to leaks, which is why we're having the conversation about She-Hulk being canceled. If they notice that people want War Machine, they notice, bro. Trust me, they notice. They know what we want. They know who we want. But it's like if everything they do gets criticized. So if they announce War Machine is going to be, why isn't it Doctor Strange? Why isn't it Captain Marvel? Why isn't it this person? Why isn't it this person? I want Venom. I want Ghost Rider. I want Deadpool. So it's like, no matter what they do, they're going to get criticized. But it's like, yes, I'll be excited. They know people want War Machine. Happy Sunday to you, John Luke. In your opinion, what are the absolute items that the game needs to be implemented for 2023? So I was just talking about that. Like it's statements like that where we come across like way too entitled, and it's like I don't want to put demands on what the game needs or what it needs to be or anything like that. I'm just hoping for what we've heard about. So I'm hoping patrol mode with join in progress actually comes in 2023, and it's everything we want it to be. It's actually fun. I hope it's things we didn't even know it could be. I'm hoping for things like that. So I think we really need a new engaging mode outside of the raid that people can interact with week in and week out. I think the developers are aware of that, and I think they're working towards that with patrol mode. I think patrol mode will represent a turning point in the game's life cycle. God bless Miller. Yeah, bro. And again, like Miller is a person, bro. Like he is so much more than just leaks and rumors. He's so much more than just Avengers. And it's like he gets a lot of unnecessary hate and just like vitriol for no reason. For no reason. And again, it's like he's one of the chillest dudes you can meet. Like if you actually get to know Miller and have a conversation with him, he actually cares more. He cares more about the dev team than they give him credit for. That's what makes it crazy. Like he takes a lot more into account, and he gives them a lot more consideration than they give him credit for. But at the same time, like I said, I understand. He makes their job a little more difficult by beating them to the gun with news announcements. I think they changed the intro music. You talking about for the game? Kaz, what are your thoughts on the emote wheel? I think they need it. I think that's something, if they can allocate some resources towards that, that's something that should have been in the game yesterday. But again, it's an emote wheel. It's like, if that's going to take significant time away from something else that really needs those resources, forget the emote wheel, bro. Like, forget it. That's why it's not in the game. It's not that they don't want to. It's not that they don't care. Those resources have to be used wisely. They don't have that big of a team. So to pull somebody off another project to go and work on a wheel that people are just going to be silly with, it's like, that's hard to justify when we really are fighting to meet deadlines and roll out content. So it's hard to say, hey, let's get you off of working on Bucky so that he can release and ship on time to go work on this emote wheel that people want. Whenever they find time for that, they will, but it's hard to justify that when we have other priorities that need to be met. What's up, Sierra? Playing any Elise tonight? We can. I actually need to wrap up soon, but I got some stuff to do, but possibly around like 5 or 6 tonight, we probably can do some raids. I'm kind of confused. I'm not confused, but I'm kind of rethinking playing and raiding on stream, because it's like, because of how I play the game, I get kind of tunnel vision. I get focused on, especially with the raid. It's like it can be so chaotic, and I honestly just be trying to focus and get through it, just to get through the content. So I don't interact with chat as much as I want to or as much as I would like, and it's like rewatching streams, I don't like that. So it's like I try to consciously do better with that, but it's like maybe we just play off stream or something like that. I've been playing with you guys off stream, but I don't know. But like I said, we can especially if you're a member of the Discord, which you guys can definitely join. We can always find time to play together. Who thinks we need more women heroes in the game? I think they're getting towards your balance, and I think She-Hulk would be a big step towards that. So you would have currently you got Kamala, you got Kate, you got Black Widow, and you got Jane Foster. And if you get She-Hulk, that'll be 5 women, and I think 6 or 7 guys at that point, because you're getting Winter Soldier. So it's like, yeah, you're getting Captain Marvel, and you're getting Scarlet Witch. So we're hoping for Scarlet Witch. We're hoping for Captain Marvel, but I think they're doing the best they can with balancing that. And like I said, I think they have to start focusing on serving other demographics as well. So you could get more representation in the game. So Black Panther did a lot in that regard, but there are other heroes who would work in that capacity. What's up, Cecilia? How you doing? You love the raid streams? Yeah, like I said, I definitely still do them. I have to get better at staying on top of interacting with chat. That's ultimately what I'm saying. Asgard villains would be great. Yeah, just open up portals. So the Tachyon rifts are opening portals to other dimensions and other realms and things like that. Set up a war zone where new enemies are spawning in from another realm. So you got frost giants, you got frost beasts and stuff like that running around in Utah or wherever you want to set the war zone up, but just introduce that and justify it with tachyon anomalies. That's pretty simple in my opinion, but I'm not on the development team. I'm not on the narrative team. I hope that something like that it ends up on the table at some point. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys so much for coming out and hanging out this Sunday and just sticking around with me in general. We are hoping for She-Hulk not to be canceled. Like I said, just try to be more positive in general. Be positive with each other. Whether somebody's liking the game or hating the game, just be positive with them and be positive with the developers because they're genuinely working as hard as they can to get content out. And a lot of your issues about the game in general are stemming from executive decisions that the developers themselves have no control over. That's legitimately the facts of the matter. Is like a lot of the issues that you have with the game are things that the developers aren't happy with but have no control over. So instead of beating them down about that, just take a moment, bear in mind that's a person on the other end of that message, and rethink that interaction. But as always, guys, I genuinely appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another stream. We will definitely be back with more. I'll definitely have more videos out for you guys. I'm definitely going to catch you later. And if you haven't already, make sure you join the Discord because we have another watch party coming up. We're going to be watching Ultimate Avengers 2 soon. So make sure you're a part of that. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.